welcome back to the channel. Hope everyone's doing well. So for the moment, our detailed view is a bit primitive. Wouldn't it be great to improve the detailed view to the one shown here? In this lesson, we will focus on 3 areas. The first one is to design the detailed view of our Cafégram app using a custom table view. Then we are going to learn how to use our own fonts, and finally learn how to automatically resize a table view cell to fit its content. Okay, we will cover a lot of materials in this lesson, so that's why I suggest you set aside other stuff and let yourself focus on that one. Okay, on top of that, I assume that you already know how to build a custom table using prototype cells. Okay, if you forget, go back and watch my previous lesson before. So if you're ready now, let's begin to tweak the detail view and make it look great. Okay guys, before starting today's lesson, I have a bad news. Indeed, I've tried to activate the dark feature in Xcode 10, but it seems that you need the new version of Mac OS Mojave, okay? But it's only available in a beta version for the moment, and it's not safe to install an unstable operating system, okay? Sorry about that, but never mind, I can show you another cool stuff, okay? So here in preferences, you can modify the color of your code. You have many themes here in fonts and colors. So choose the one that you prefer to better understand the code writing, okay? So you have this one, this one, this one, okay? I let you choose the one that you prefer, and also you can change here the size and the font of letters. So concerning my preference, I prefer this one, I think. Yes, the dusk theme, okay? Cool. Okay, so first of all, we are going to main.storyboard in the interface builder, and we are going to remove everything in the Cafe Detail View controller. Okay, for this lesson we are going to begin from scratch. So here, Cafe Image View, you're just going to delete it like this. Okay, I can also stop this later. And now we are going to the Cafe class here in the model group, and we are going to add 2 new properties. Okay, so the first one will be phone, and it's a string, and then description. Okay, description, which is also a string. Okay, then we have to change our initializer here, so I'm just going to add phone like this. Okay, and description. Sorry guys, I'm a little bit sick today, so my tutorial will be a little bit slow, so sorry for that. Okay, but I'm trying my best to give you a good lesson even today. So then self.phone is equal to phone. Okay, I've explained you in my last video what is this. Okay, so if you don't understand, just go and watch the previous lesson before doing this one. Okay, cool. And also I have to change this one, so image, then phone like this, and then description like this. Perfect. Okay, and now if I do Command B just to build my project, I have few error here. Okay, like this one, because the cafes array don't include yet my 2 new properties, phone and description. Okay, Okay, so that means we have to change our values. We have to update them in the cafes array. So what we are going to do is to replace this array like this. Okay, so as you can see here, you will find that the values of the location property are updated with the full address of the cafes. Also, it includes some dummy phone numbers and descriptions like this. Okay, as you can see in the project navigator in the left side here, we have some updating to do. Okay, so here I'm just going to click on that button and perform changes. Okay, and finally click on conversion to Swift 4.2 is available, and then press next. You just click save like this. Cool. Now we can go back to our project, and you have to know that Xcode has made it very easy for developers to use custom fonts. Okay, all you need is just add the custom font files into your Xcode project. Let's say we prefer to use Rubik in our app here. So we can go up to this link here. Okay, click select this font and select one family, select it to bring up the menu. Okay, we can then click the download icon to download the font here. Okay, download just like that. Okay, and then once you have your font, your custom font, in the project navigator, right click the cafegram folder. Okay, and select new group, and we are going to name this group resources. Okay, like this, then press enter. Next, right click the resources folder and select new group to add a subgroup. Okay, and we're going to name this subgroup fonts like this. We will put all the font files into this group. Okay, you select all the files and then you drag and drop them here like this, and then you have to tick copy items if needed. Okay, and also select create groups, and then you just click finish like this. Soon after you hit finish, the font files will appear in the project navigator here. Okay, to ensure our app can use the font files, hold command key to select all the font files. In the file inspector, make sure the cafegram option under target membership is enabled. If not, tick the option. Okay, here it's the case for us, so it's good. Okay, that's the procedures to install a custom font. Later we will be able to use the Rubik font when we design the table view. Okay, now let's start to design the detail view shown in the introduction of this tutorial. Okay, there are multiple ways to implement this kind of screen. One simple way is to use a dynamic table view to realize it. Okay, you have learned what a dynamic table view is. You created a custom table view with a single prototype cell. The prototype cell is similar to a design template. Tough, the cell's data differs. The look and feel of each cell is exactly the same. Okay, that's the idea of prototype cells. It's not a mandate to design a table view using one prototype cell. You are free to create multiple prototype cells to implement your own table design. The other thing I haven't mentioned so far is that each table view has its own header view. Okay, this header view resides on top of the table cells. The header view is empty by default, but you are allowed to add your own view to that. Okay, so here So here is what we're going to do to realize the detailed view design. First of all, create a table header view that displays the cafe image, name, type, and so on. Okay. Create 2 prototype cells for the cafe information. Prototype cell number 1 for displaying address and phone number, and prototype cell number 2 for displaying a paragraph of textual content. Okay, so now that you should have some ideas about how we structure the table view, let's dive into interface builder. Okay, and design the view here. So go to main.storyboard of the project, select a table view object. In Xcode 10, the object library is at the top, okay, here, and just write table view object, table view, like this, and drag it to the detail view controller, okay, like this. Resize it to fit the whole view and the spacing constraints for each side of the table view, okay. Okay, and concerning the constraints, 0 for each side, okay. Okay, now select the table view in document outline, okay, and in attributes inspector, set the prototype cells to 2. Okay, this adds 2 prototype cells in the table view. We will deal with the prototype cells later. Okay, now add a view from the object library, UI view. Okay, add this view to the table views header. Okay, like this. Change the height of the view to 350 points. Okay, the height 350 points, like this. In the size inspector, this view serves as the container view holding other elements which we will add in the header. Okay, you can rename the view from view to header view here in the document outline. Just click on view and change it accordingly. Okay, this step is completely optional. However, by giving each view a meaningful name, it will make us easier to identify a specific view later. Okay, so we haven't designed the header view yet. Now drag an image view from object library here, image view, okay, and place it in header view like this. Okay, resize it to make it fit the size of the header view, like this. Okay, in the attributes inspector, change the content mode to aspect fill. Okay, again, to organize our UI components better, give the image view a proper name in the document outline. Set it to header image view, like this. Okay, cool. You don't need to add auto layout constraints for the header view because it's added as the table view header. However, we have to define some constraints for the header image view. Okay, the image view should always fit the size of the header view. To make it possible, we will define 4 spacing constraints for the top, bottom, left, and right sides of the image view. Okay, select the image view here in the document outline and click the Add New Constraints button of the layout bar. Set the spacing of the top, left, right, and bottom side to 0, like this. Okay. Make sure the bars are in solid red and the constraint to margins option is unchecked. Then hit the Add 4 Constraints button to add the 4 constraints. Okay, like this. Next, add a label and place it near the lower left corner of the image view. Label, object and place it here, okay, like this. For example, this label is used to display the cafe name. Make sure the label is selected and go to the attributes inspector, okay, change the color white, okay, here, white color. We are now going to change its font to the custom font we installed earlier, okay. Click the T icon of the font option here. In the popover, choose custom for the font option, okay. You'll then find the Rubik font in the drop list of the family option, okay, here. Set the style to medium and size to 35, okay, like this. Like before, change its name in the document outline to name label. Okay. As a side note, you can press Command plus equal to automatically resize label after you change the font size, okay? Now drag another label and place it under the previous label object, okay? So maybe I'm going to push it up like this a little bit and place the second one here, okay? This new label is used for presenting the cafe type. Change the width of the new label to 100 points and height to 20 points in the size inspector, okay? So width 100 and height 20, like this, okay? In the attributes inspector, set the background color to yellow, okay? So where is it? Here, background, okay? So just press that, custom, and here you're going to select yellow, okay? For the font color, change it to black. It's already black, so it's cool. Change the font to Rubik. Here, custom, Rubik, like this, okay. Set the style to regular. It's already regular, and size to 13 points, okay, like this. Also change the alignment option to center. Alignment option to center, like this. Similarly, change its name to type label in the document outline, okay. Okay, now it's time to add some layout constraints for these components. Let's first start with the yellow label, okay. Select the yellow label and then click the Add New Constraints button here, okay. Set the value of the top, left, and bottom side to 3, 14, and 14, okay, like this. We don't need it to have a constraint with the right side, okay, because we are going to fix the width of the label, okay. So make sure the bars are in solid red and the constraints to margins option is unchecked here. Then check both width and height option to enable the size constraints, okay. Lastly, click the Add 5 Constraints button to proceed. Okay, but one thing you may notice is that the width of the label is now fixed to 100 points. As I said before, our layout requirement is that the width of the label can be greater than its default value, okay? To do that, select the width constraint of the label, okay, here, and change its relation option from equal to greater than or equal, okay, here. Like this. In the size inspector, now the width of the label can vary. Okay, now let's add some layout requirements for the name label. Okay, here. The bottom side of the label should be 3 points away from the top side of the yellow label. The left or leading side of the label should be aligned with the left side of the yellow label, and the right or trailing side of the label should be at least 50 points away from the right side of the header view. Okay, we have already defined the spacing constraint for the first requirement earlier. Okay, for the second requirement, control drag from the name label to the type label when prompt. Okay, like this. Choose leading to define an alignment constraint. Okay, cool. For the third requirement, select the name label here and click the Add New Constraints button. Set the spacing of the right side here to 50. Okay, and then click Add One Constraint. Cool. As mentioned in the layout requirement, the spacing can vary from 50 points to a larger value. Select the spacing constraint we just added here. No. This one, okay. Change its relation in size inspector to greater than or equal, okay. Here. Cool. That's it. We've completed the design of the header view. After going through all the steps above, I'm quite sure you have a better understanding of auto layout, okay? Now let's move on to the coding part. We will create a class for the header view. In Project Navigator, right-click the View folder here, okay, and select New File. Choose the Cocoa Touch class template and hit Next, okay? Set the class name to Cafe Detail Header View, Cafe Detail Header View, like this, and its subclass to UI View, okay? Cool. Click Next to create the file. Cancel, because this is the Swift language, okay? And then click Next to create the file. Okay. Edit the Cafe Detail Header View .swift file like below to add the required outlet variables. Like this. Okay, I let you either copy paste or write these 3 lines, okay, and then go back to the interface builder in main.storyboard and select the header view in the document outline, okay, here, and then in identity inspector here change the custom class to Cafe Detail Header View, okay, here, and then press enter. Next, establish a connection with each of the corresponding outlet variables, okay, like this. Just press Ctrl and click again on header view, and then you just have to link the outlets, okay. So header image view with header image view, name label with name label, and type label with type label here, okay. Cool. Now that the header view is ready for us to populate the Cafe data, it's time to modify Cafe Detail View Controller.swift, okay? In the Cafe Detail View Controller, where is it? Here, Cafe Detail View Controller. Insert 2 new outlet variables for the table view and the header view, okay? Later, we need to modify their content in code. This is why we need to create these two outlets. Like this. Okay. Next, update the view didLoad method here with the following code. Okay. So configure the header view. Configure the header view. Okay, so you have to write header view like this. Like this. Find the name label property and then text, okay, is equal to cafe dot name, okay. Then header view dot type label dot text is equal to cafe dot type, okay. And finally, header view dot header image view dot image is equal to UI image, okay, this one, cafe dot image, okay. I also noticed that I forgot to remove this outlet which refers to my previous video, so you can remove it like this, okay. And the code is way much cleaner, okay. Cool. Also this line, you can remove it like this. And so the code is very straightforward. When the detail view is loaded, we set the cafe data to the corresponding label or image view, okay? Now we are going to establish the connections for both header view and table view, okay? In main.storyboard, so just click once on cafe detail view like this, press Ctrl, click once again, and then when you have this pop-up menu, the header view here with header view, okay, and the table view with the table view, okay, cool. After all the tedious procedures, we're now ready to test our app. So run the project and have a quick look. So here we have our Cafegram app, and the image is now displayed in the table views header, okay, like this, right above the rest of the table rows, okay, cool. The header view looks great, right? However, you may notice a few issues if you compare it carefully with the expected design shown in the introduction, okay? So as you can see here, for example, or maybe here, the header image covers nearly half of the table cell. For some lengthy cafe names, they cannot be fully displayed, okay? For example here, okay, the type label is supposed to have rounded corners, okay, and for some cafe images with a lot of white background, the cafe name may be clearly shown, okay, like here, for example, you don't see the Perla cafe, the Perla word, okay. So we will tackle each problem one by one. Okay, the first problem is related to the content mode of the image view. Every view in iOS has a content mode. The UI image view class is a subclass of UI view, which also has a content mode property to specify how a view adjusts its content, okay? By default, the UI image view object is set to scale to fill. In this mode, the image view scales its image to fit the view's size, okay? The aspect ratio of the image may be changed due to the scaling. If you change the mode to aspect fit, the aspect ratio of the image will be maintained. However, it may leave some extra spaces on both sides of the image, okay? The aspect fill mode is the best fit for the Cafegram app, which is why we set the header image view to this mode. In this mode, the image view scales the image to fill the size of the view. The aspect ratio is maintained through some parts of the image may not be displayed, okay? However, when the image is scaled using this mode, it overlaps with the table view cell beneath it here, okay? To resolve the issue, select the header image view and go to the Attributes Inspector here. Enable the Clip to Bounce option in the Drawing section. This will prevent the image from extending to the table cell. Okay, cool. The second issue is related to the cafe name. If the name is too long, the label will truncate the text. By default, the label is set to display text in a single line here. You can select the label and then reveal the lines option in the Attributes Inspector. The current value should be set to 1 here, okay? Labels in iOS are capable to display multiple lines. All you need is to change the value to 0, okay? In this case, the label will automatically determine the total number of lines to fit its content, while you can change the value in Interface Builder here to 0. I prefer to customize the property of the label in code, okay? Open Cafe Detail Header View here, Cafe Detail Header View, and edit the name label variable here, okay? To update the number of lines property using didSet, like this, didSet, and then name label number of lines equal 0, okay? Cool. And concerning the rounded corner problem, every view in the UI kit is backed by an instance of the CA layer class, okay? The layer object is built in with several attributes that can be set to control the visual content of the view, such as border width, border color, opacity, and corner radius, okay? To create rounded corners, you can modify the value of the corner radius property, okay? Again, we will make the change in Swift code. Change the type label variable like this, okay? DidSet type label dot layer dot corner radius is equal to 5.0. I write 5.0 instead of 5 because if you press option and you press on corner radius, you see that it's a CG float, okay? CG float means that it expects a number with decimals, okay? Cool. And then type label dot layer dot masks to bounds, which has the same action than clip to bounds, okay? So either you can write layer dot mask to bounds equal true, or I think type label dot clip to bounds directly equal to true. These two lines mean the same. Okay, so I let you choose. Okay, we set the corner radius property of layer to 5 points. The larger is the value, the more rounded is the corner. Okay, in order to create the corner radius effect, you also need to enable the mask to bounds property. Okay, cool. Okay, now let's fix the final issue. Since the cafe name label is in white, it may not be shown clearly if the cafe image has a lot of white in it. How can we solve this issue? One way is to add an overlay to dim the image. Okay, to do that, go to main.storyboard, drag a view from object library, UI view, okay, and place it right below the header image view in document outline. Okay, here, like this. Okay, name it dim view. Okay, resize the view to make it the same size as the header view. Okay, like this. Then go to the attributes inspector here and set the background color to black and alpha value to 0.2. Okay, so background color to black color and the alpha value 0.2. Okay, okay, like this. Press enter. The alpha value controls the transparency of the color. It goes from 0 to 1, where 0 is completely transparent and 1 fully opaque. Okay, we set the value to 0.2 so that it's partially transparent. Okay, and achieve a dimming effect. Lastly, don't forget to define the layout constraint for the view. Select the dim view and click the Add New Constraints button. Set the spacing of the top, left, right, and bottom side to 0. Okay, like this. Make sure the bars are in solid red and the constraint to margins option is unchecked. Then hit the Add for Constraints button to add the constraints. Okay. Now it's time to test the header view again. If you got everything correct, the header view should be displayed perfectly. Okay. So I launch my simulator again. Okay. Cool. And it looks very great. So if you follow me from the very beginning, you should know how to customize the prototype cell. Okay, as mentioned earlier, however, we only used one prototype cell in designing a table view. Now we are going to create two different prototype cells for the detail view. Okay, so the first one will be the cafe detail icon text cell. This cell has an icon and a short text. It's designed for displaying address and phone number. And the second prototype cell is cafe detail text cell. This cell has a label for displaying a paragraph or textual content. Okay. Okay, now drag an image view to the first prototype cell. Okay. Resize it to 20 by 20 points. Okay. Okay, the image view will be used for displaying an icon. Then drag another label and place it next to the image view inspector and change the font to custom. okay, family to rubric, and style to regular. Set the font size to 14, like this, okay. To fix the size of the image view, select and click the Add New Constraints button, okay. Here, tick both width and height checkboxes, like this, and then click Add Two Constraints to add the size constraints, okay. Again, we will use a stack view for layout. Select the image view and label in the document outline, like this. Click the stack button in the layout bar to embed them in a horizontal stack view, here, okay. Go to the attributes inspector and change its alignment to center, okay, and spacing to 10 points, okay. Cool. As usual, you need to add some spacing constraints for each side of the stack view. Make sure the stack view is selected, and then click the Add New Constraints button here. Set the value of top, left, bottom, and right side to 12, 14, 0, and 14 respectively, okay? Like this. So top it's 12, left it's 14, right 14, and bottom 0, okay? Also uncheck the constraint to margins option and then click Add for constraints to confirm, okay? Cool. For each prototype cell, we will create a corresponding Swift file to connect with it, okay? In Project Navigator, right-click View folder here and choose New File. Select the Cocoa Touch class template. In the next screen, name the class Cafe Detail Icon Text Cell. Cafe Detail Icon Text Cell, like this, and set it as a subclass of UI table view cell, okay? UI table view cell. We don't need that, okay. Click Next to save the file, okay. Similarly to what we have done before, we will create two outlet variables for the connections of the image view and labels, okay. Declare the following variables in the Cafe Detail Icon Text Cell.swift file. Okay, so IB outlet, like this, var icon image view, type of UI image view, okay, like this, then IB outlet short text label, like this, type of UI label, okay. And also we are going to set the number of lines to 0, okay, like we did earlier. So short text label dot number of lines is equal to 0. You should understand the code above. We just create an outlet for the icon image view and the other outlet for the text label. Since the text is going to extend over multiple lines, we set the label's number of lines property to 0, okay? Now go back to Interface Builder in main.storyboard. First select the prototype cell designed, okay, here. we haven't set its cell identifier and custom class. So go to the attributes inspector, okay, and set the identifier to cafe detail icon text cell. Cafe detail icon text cell, like this. Press enter. Okay, to set the custom class, go to the identity inspector and change the custom class to cafe detail icon text cell, like this, and press enter. Right click the cafe detail icon text cell in the document outline, okay, establish the connections between the UI components and the outlet variables we defined earlier, okay. So icon image view with image view, okay, and short text label with label. Cool. Now we will move on to the implementation of the second prototype cell. This cell is designed to display a paragraph of text. The label object is good enough to serve this purpose, okay? In Interface Builder, drag a label from the object library to the second prototype cell, okay? Like this. Okay, go to the Attributes Inspector, change its font to Rubic here. Okay, Rubic, style to light this time here, and size to 15. Cool. Soon after, click the Add New Constraints button to define several layout constraints, okay? Here, set the spacing value of top to 12, left to 16, okay, bottom to 0, and right to 16, okay? And make sure you uncheck the constraint to margins option and click add for constraints to confirm, okay, like this. Cool. Similarly, we will create a Swift file for this protocol cell 2. In Project Navigator, right click the view folder and select new file, choose the Cocoa Touch class template and click the next button. Name the class Cafe Detail Text Cell. Cafe Detail Text Cell, okay, and set its subclass to UI table view cell, like this, okay. Cool. Once created, open the cafe detail text cell.swift file, declare an outlet variable for the label, okay. Here at ib outlet, like this, var description label, type of UI label, like this, did set description label dot number of lines is equal to 0, okay. Again, we set the number of lines property to 0 in order to display multiple lines. Go back to main.storyboard and select the second prototype cell, okay. Go to the attributes inspector and set the cell identifier to cafe detail text cell, okay, like this, and press enter. In the identity inspector, set the custom class to cafe detail text cell, cafe detail text cell, and press enter, okay. Finally, establish a connection between the label and outlet variable, okay. Oh, I made a mistake in the word. Okay, where is it? So description, okay, like this. and now I can do the link, the connection. Okay, so right now description label is linked with that label. Okay, like this. Cool. Now the prototype cells are ready to use. Let's update the cafe detail view controller class to populate the cafe information. Okay, the cafe detail view controller here class is a subclass of UI view controller. As you've learned before, we have to adopt both the UI table view data source and UI table view delegate protocols for displaying content in the table view. Okay, in cafe detail view controller.swift, update the class declaration to adopt the protocols below, like this. UI table view delegate and UI table view data source, like this. Okay, we then populate the cafe information by implementing the required methods of the UI table view data source protocol. Okay, insert the following code in cafe detail view controller. So okay, fix. Okay, maybe I'm going to put this method here rather. Okay, okay, so the number, we can also write this method number of section return 1. Okay, then number of rows in section return 3. Okay, and now cell for row at here. First of all, let me write and then I'm going to explain you. Okay, so we are going to switch the value of the index path. Okay, index path dot row. So if first case, if it's 0, then the code to use is this one. Let cell is equal to table view.dq reusable for index path. Okay, like this. It will be type of string like this. Okay, describing. Okay, cafe detail view, cafe detail icon text cell, cafe detail icon text cell dot self. Okay, and index path here as cafe detail icon text cell, cafe detail icon text cell. Okay, and then cell dot icon image dot image is equal to UI image, like this. Okay, and the name of the image of the icon is phone. Okay, and then cell dot show label dot text is equal to cafe dot phone. Okay, and then return cell. Okay, like this. That's what is expected here. Okay, returning a cell. Okay, so the other case will be if the index path is equal to 1. Let cell equal table view dot dq reusable cell, like this. Okay, so still type of string describing. Okay, cafe detail icon text cell dot self. Okay, and here index path. So I'm going to explain you after writing, don't worry. Again, I'm sick today, so I'm sorry if my tutorial is a little bit boring today, but it's not easy when you are sick to record a lesson. Okay, guys? Okay, map like this. No, not map. MC map. Okay, cell dot short text label dot text is equal to cafe dot location. Okay, again return a cell. Cool. Otherwise, in case if index path dot row is equal to 2, then let cell equal to table view dot dq reusable like this. Okay, cafe detail text cell dot self. Okay, index path as cafe detail text cell like this. Okay, and then let cell then cell dot description label dot text is equal to cafe dot description. Okay, and don't forget to return the cell again like this. Okay, and by default you always have to put a default case. Okay, so you can write fatal error message. Okay, failed to instantiate the table view cell, for detail view controller like this. Okay, so now you should be very familiar with this code. Okay, the app displays 3 rows of cafe information, including location, phone, and description. This is why we returned 3 in the number of rows in section here. Okay, the implementation of the cell for row at method is a bit different from what you learned before, because we now have to cater for 2 different types of prototype cells. Okay, the first and second cells use cafe detail icon text cell, while the third one uses cafe detail text cell. Okay, here we use switch. Okay, to control the program flow and execute different branches of code depending on the value of indexpath.row. For the first cell, we dequeue the reusable cell with the identifier cafe detail icon text cell, and then populate the phone icon plus the phone number. Okay, for case 1, the code is very similar. We just set the map icon and present the cafe's location. For case 2, here, instead of using the cafe detail icon text cell, we dequeue the cafe detail text cell because cell number 3 is used for displaying the cafe's description. Okay, and the case default here will be executed only if the value of indexpath.row doesn't match 0, 1, or 2. Okay, in this case we give a fatal error. Okay, the code of the cafe detail view controller class is almost ready. There is only one thing left. We haven't established the connection with the table view in the storyboard. Okay, in earlier videos I showed you how to do it via interface builder. Okay, this time let's do it through code in the view did load method of cafe detail view controller. Here, insert the following lines of code. Okay, so configure the table view like this, and table view dot delegate is equal to self, and table view dot data source is equal to self. Okay, like this. That's it. We set the table views delegate and data source to self. Okay, now we can hit the run button and test our app. The detail view now displays more information about the selected cafe. Okay, I just remember that I forgot to drag and drop my two new assets, my two icons. Okay, so I'm just going to drag and drop them here like this. Okay, and now I'm going to relaunch my simulator again. Okay, and now you can see the icons with the phone number and the address. Okay, the table view is now pretty nice. If you want to remove the separator line, the separator of the table, you can insert the following line in the view did load method here. Okay, so maybe here, table view dot separator style is equal to none. Okay, and I press Command R to relaunch my simulator, and by setting the style of the separator to none, you can remove all the separators. Okay, like this. Cool, very, very cool. Thanks. Great, you've made it. I hope you love it and the app you created. You've already built a quite polished app. It's not a complex app yet, but you've managed to use some common components such as table view and navigation controller in iOS. What's more is that you've learned how to work with custom fonts and create a detailed screen with a custom table view. Okay, so if you enjoyed the party, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for my upcoming videos. And that's all for today, guys. I'll see you later. Bye bye.